Hey, good morning, family. This is Johnny. I am super excited to be with you this morning, and I believe that today is going to be one of the best days of your life. I have the opportunity to share an encouraging word, and I hope that it blesses you as it has blessed me. One of the things that I have discovered over time, one of my favorite parts of the day is resting. Going to bed at night. I love that part about my day. The reason why I love that part about my day is because I do so much throughout the course of my day. It's specifically, in many cases, I wake up really early compared to a lot of folks. And I don't mean to epitomize myself, it's just the truth. Nevertheless, going to bed at night and resting is so important for me, and I love that moment. I cherish that moment. It relieves me. It allows me to just let down my hair. You shouldn't be laughing, but it's okay. I'm going to be sharing a story in Psalms Psalms 3, verse 5 through 6, and I think this is a beautiful Psalms. And this psalm is actually a psalm that David writes here. David says this, Psalm chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. He says, I lay down and slept. I wake again, for the Lord sustained me. I would not be afraid of many thousands of people who have set themselves against me all around me. Why is this verse, or why are these verses so beautiful? Because here at this particular time, King David had somebody that wanted to dethrone him. If this wasn't just anybody, this person that wanted to dethrone King David at the time was his actual son. His son, Absalom, wanted to dethrone David. Not only dethrone David, Absalom wanted to kill his father. So King David, now having a little context, King David says this, I lay down and slept. I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. Could you picture a moment in time where you have such a gross situation where you have your child wanting to kill you? That could be pretty devastating. So King David here, that's his situation. He has a son who is trying to actively, aggressively pursue him to take his life and dethrone him. And he says, I lay down and slept. I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. We're talking about rest here. There are two types of ideas when it comes to rest. The rest that I shared with you earlier that I truly love is a physical rest, right? At the end of my long day with the early start, I am super excited about resting, that physical rest. But what David is talking about here, he's talking about a spiritual rest. You know, I think about Matthew 11:28 that says, come unto me, all ye that are weary and burdened. and it goes on to say, and I will give you rest. He says, take my yoke upon you, and learn from them. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. When you think about the picture, going back to Matthew 11:28, when Jesus tells his disciple, come unto me, all ye that are weary and are burdened, and I will give you rest. There's a rest that can only be provided solely from God. And I believe, I'm convinced that the rest that we see here that David talks about when he simply says, I lay down and slept, I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. That spiritual rest can only be found in Jesus Christ. It is great for us to pursue a physical rest that we so desperately need. Our bodies need that spiritual rest for our physical sustainment and long life. But our bodies also need a spiritual rest that can only be found in Jesus Christ. I want you guys to know something today. I want you to know that God is madly in love with you, that he desires to give you that spiritual rest, that no matter what's going on around you, no matter what's going on in front of you, that no matter what's going on beneath you or above you, God desires to give you a spiritual rest, that what's going on inside of you can sustain, can assist, can aid what's going on all around you. It's that comfort. God says, I think about one of my favorite scriptures when God says that they that put their trust in the Lord, they should not be ashamed. This is a great picture here at Psalms 3:5. I lay down and slept. I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. That's a beautiful picture of a spiritual rest that God can only give. I thank God that is not my situation. David's situation, being pursued by his son, and his son wanted to take his life, and David so effortlessly, I believe, because he was already rooted in God, simply said, I lay down and slept. My encouragement to you today, in the midst of what's going on in your life, and I don't know what that is, but you know, my encouragement that you are able to lay down in the rest that only God can provide you with. And I believe that as you lay down in that rest, that you, like David, will be able to rise up and say, as David said, I woke again, for the Lord has sustained me. David didn't reference the sustainment of his life to his soldiers that I'm sure was keeping watch over his kingdom or his dwelling place. But David simply said that I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. Hey family, I believe today that God will sustain you in every area of your life. That God will just shower you in his favor. He will shower you in his rest. I think about my daughter, Elisa. One of the things that she loves most at night, like clockwork, she enjoys having me or her mom laying down in the bed with her. Sometimes at night, she'll wake up restless out of her bed, and she will pursue us in our bedroom, and I'm just so tired, and I just tell her, come get in our bed. And as soon as she touches our mattress, she lays down and rests. Whatever she was dealing with, whatever she was thinking about has left her, and now because she's in the comfort of her mom and her dad, she can rest. And I believe our Father, our Heavenly Father, is the same way, where he's like, hey, look, and he's actually asking us, come. Where for me, I'm like, no, Elisa, stay in your bedroom and go to sleep. Do not wake back up and come and try to jump in our bed. I believe we have a spiritual Father who's asking us, no, please come lay down with me. Please come lay down with me. That's the kind of God we serve. I pray that today will be a day full of rest for you. That even when you have those moments of doubt or concerns, that there will be something on the inside of you will make you think about how good God has been to you. And in that thought, I encourage you to just find rest. So So have a great day today, because this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Have a great one.